I've been on a journey of breaking old patterns and finding new strength. Today, I'll show you how self-control changed everything. Starting with this full body workout. Let's get started. So hey guys, and welcome to Rise with Keela. I'm Keela, the darling. Thank you so much for being here. So it took me a really long time for me to realize that I had to let go of the things that I thought I knew about fitness, about health, in order for me to get to where I want to be. So today we're going to be taking a deep dive into self-control. Because self-control to me is nothing more than unlearning what you thought you knew to relearn or learn what you actually needed. So guys, when we talk about self-control, we pretty much really don't like it. It really stuck out to me when I was listening to Transformation Church with Mike Todd, and he was talking about self-control, and he's like, yeah, I never really liked control because of the word control in it. And I couldn't agree with him more. I was like, you know what? Pretty accurate. So I was like, this right here needed to be the forefront coming into 2025, which was self-control. Because how can we get anywhere going into 2025 if we don't have self-control? So I have 6 things that I would like to go over that I'm focusing on that is helping me to stay consistent in 2025, as well as catapult me into the next phase that God wants me to be. So when it comes to self-control to me is nothing more, like I said, than having to unlearn something to actually learn the correct thing that you're supposed to be doing. So the first thing is having to unlearn unhealthy decisions. How many times we drive past a fast food restaurant and we're like, man, that burger, or whatever you're driving past, that's fast food that you're not cooking at home. Those tend to be our go-tos every single day. And I think we have to relearn healthy choices. So, when we're sitting there and we're driving past that fast food restaurant and we're like, man, I would really love a burger. But you can go home and make a burger. And me, I had stopped eating like ground beef like years ago. But I would eat ground turkey. But this year for 2025, I wanted to focus on not eating meat and just focusing on fruits and veggies. So this year, I'm starting out with the Daniel fast. So that has been good so far. I haven't been on long, so don't even start talking or ask me about it because I'm hungry. Okay? All right. So, my next one is I'm unlearning, harmful thoughts, when not harmful, but, just more so those thoughts, that are negative, they're just trying to keep us in that depressive mode. Like, oh, you can't do it. There's so many, other people out there that, can do it better than you, and just really keeping you down. But when we have God in our hearts and we have God in our minds, we learn, relearning, God's thoughts, and God has always told us, that we are wise, that we are his children, and we shouldn't let the negative thoughts intrude our minds and keep us down. I'm having to unlearn, chaos and toxicity. A lot of times I can't tell you, how many times we just function off of chaos and toxicity, and we hate to say that. That is true. Just the whole drama, or maybe gossiping. People don't really think that that's something bad, but it is. You know, my pastor was just talking about this a couple weeks ago, and he was talking about how when we're gossiping about people or going and telling others, you know, we're really more so tearing down that other person's character. Not knowing, you know, that they have a demonic energy attached to them. And, you know, unfortunately, when we don't have God at the forefront of our minds and hearts, we will get led astray, and we will be out acting like someone that we don't even know. You know, so that's why, you know, God tells us to not judge one another. So, you know, I'm having to unlearn, you know, the chaos and toxicity, to relearn calmness and peace. You know, the calmness and peace, you know, that God gives us every single day, because God said to find rest in Him. Next, I'm having to unlearn the clap and praises of others, you know, and that's always kind of, you know, been a big thing to me, especially, you know, like in school, you know, as you guys see, you know, I'm a big gal, and, you know, it was always a problem because I did not look like everyone else, you know, and so I wanted, you know, that attention, you know, or I guess, you know, that confirmation of others, you know, that I looked good, or, you know, I was the popular one and stuff like that, but I wasn't, you know, and God had did that for a reason. You know, it took me a long time to understand, you know, why He kept me in hiding. But, you know, what we have to realize is that we have to find, just like I was talking about in the previous talking point, the calmness and peace. We have to find our confidence, our calmness, our peace in God, not in people. It's very important. Very important. Because when we try to go out and we're trying to find our calmness and peace in humans, whew, Lord, they're going to fail you. They will fail you each and every time. And I don't just say that. I say that from experience. You know, you can sit there and you can do the world for people, but there's no guarantee that they're going to do the same thing back for you. But with God, He going to come through each and every time. You better stop. Okay? All right. So, you know, unlearning the clap and praises of others, to relearn, you know, that, or learn, you know, that I only need God's approval. You know, whatever it is that I'm doing, that's why it took me so long, you know, to get on the grind and really start my YouTube and stuff like that, because I'm always, you know, making sure, or I was, you know, making sure that I had, you know, oh, is this good? You know, or just, you know, questioning, you know, everyone else. Hey, you know, is this good? You know, did I do this right? And da-da-da. But in actuality, everything that I'm doing is good because God said that it is good, you know, and at the same time, I was taking my time because I'm a person that definitely is about reputation. And if I don't feel like I'm not going to say perfect because we're not perfect, but I like to be able to put out the best, most positive impact of myself at each and every time. Because there's just so much negativity going on in the world as it is, that why do I want to add on to that? I'm having to unlearn my own control, which is, you know, me, you know, relinquishing my control. Because a lot of times, you know, we really try to be in control of everything. And, you know, God is like, that's not what I had for you. I had something way much more better for you, but you wanted to go out and you wanted to plan this and do this and get this person involved, and now you wonder why things are going downhill. So Um, I'm having to just relearn, that, or learn, that, because we've been knowing, that God's in control. But it's just, I heard my pastor say, or maybe it was Mike Todd, and he was like, I listen to so many sermons, but he was talking about how, we want God there with us, but, we just want him in the back seat or something. Like God isn't in the driver's seat. You're trying to, have God, in your life, but you don't actually want him to be in the actual driver's seat. And that right there was hard for me, because I'm like, well, what do you want me to do? But we have to understand, that when we are doing the right things and we are in alignment, with God and what he is doing, he's going to lead you to the right places, the right opportunities, the right people at the right time. As long as you're in his word. And, just like I was, talking about, me doing the Daniel fast, it's recommended, that you fast like 3 to 4 times a year, but I recommend, that fasting is not just a recommendation, it's a lifestyle. I did not, I know I did fasting when I was maybe like a teenager, but I didn't really take it seriously. I had been going to church since I was a youngin', 11, 12 or so. And I didn't really know, the power behind fasting until now. And, I feel like, fasting is definitely one of the quickest ways for us to be able to understand and be able to get closer and hear God, so he can be in control of your life. My last one is I am having to unlearn my relationship with food, because, man, like, how many times, do we sit up here and we use food as a comfort? We don't even be hungry, okay? We're just eating because it looked good, okay? And it's hard, because there's just so many good things in the world. They say they're good things, but are they really good things? I had to also realize is that my relationship with food, was more so connected to a deeper issue. So, if you find yourself out and, you are, just really addicted to food, you find yourself, you're not, like I said, you're not even hungry. You just find yourself eating. There may be a deeper lying issue. And sometimes we actually want to deal with. And it's just easier to eat it away. That was me, about a year, almost 2 years ago, when I first started on this journey. And, I've lost 153 pounds. And, I had so much going on. I was working 2 full-time jobs. My mother, she had a stroke, so I was taking care of her. I was going to school. I had my son, and, at that time, when I was in a relationship, with a woman, for 10 years, until God convicted me of that. And that's another story for another time. But you can really lose yourself. You really can. And this has probably been the most important message I feel like, God has laid on my heart for the beginning of this year. And so I definitely believe that us relinquishing it, our self-control, changing our mindset is going to be the ultimate, like, gift. Because if you can sit here and, unlearn, all of these things and relearn or learn, the proper habits and routine, back then when I would, make so many organizational charts and, I'm going to work out this and work out that. But because my mindset had not changed, I was going nowhere. I did years of making routines of how I'm going to work out this and work out that, and never did it. And I know that there's so many of you out there just like me. So we have to start by changing our mindset. We have to have self-control. So, I was unlearning my relationship with food to relearn God's spirit food. And that's the most important food that we need to fuel up on. So this workout wasn't just about building strength with our bodies. The most important was about building strength with our minds. It was about unlearning the things that hold us back and relearning the habits, mindset, and truths that set us free. Self-control is the key to transformation, if you don't already know. And it starts one choice at a time. And remember, you're not alone in this journey. You have me. But seriously, remember, you're never alone in this journey. God's got you, always and forever. So let's keep growing stronger together. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See you next time.